I say this to say, you say people might give up after 2 years, right? But if people go to university, they want to become a doctor, they won't be gone in 2 years from the university. You want to become a lawyer, you're going to spend more than 2 years. To be a professional athlete, you have to spend nearly your whole life. So why is it when you want to become a successful trader, if it's not done in 2 years, you quit? So the biggest thing that I would say is have a realistic approach. And once you really confine and lock in on yourself, it doesn't matter how many years it takes. Like I said, I've been trading for 8 years. It really just clicked for me about 2 to 3 years ago that this is something I can do for the rest of my life.
What's happening, you guys? Just here at the Dubai Forex Expo with Nas. Is it Nas or Nas?
It's Nas. Full name Nasir, but you know, you're good to call me Nas on a personal level, brother.
Yeah, good.
Sure.
All right, man. Well, look, I think it's cool. We'll just go through some of your trading journey, kind of hear about your story. And obviously you found a good amount of success with trading. Yeah. So like, even if we go back a bit, like, what were you doing before trading to make money?
So quite funny, before trading, man, to make money, you know, I worked a regular job. I started trading when I was in high school, around 17 years old. I worked at Chick-fil-A. You ever heard of Chick-fil-A?
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A is like one of the popular restaurants back in the States. And the funny thing about Chick-fil-A is, you know, you have to be nice all day working there. It's one of the things. You have to say my pleasure and all of this stuff. So I'd get off work and I'd naturally be a little angry or a little mad just because I've been nice all day, right? So that's what I was doing before trading. And it was actually when I was working at Chick-fil-A that I started getting into trading and exploring that. I remember going to buy my first bit of crypto with my check. There was a bank right next door. I took my check straight to the bank, wired it off to a guy, bought straight XRP. And ever since then, I've been trading, man, getting into Forex and stuff, taking it up.
Wow. And so that first initial investment, did that go quite well?
It went well. I got an XRP at about 4 cents. It went up, but at the same time, I was in high school, so I sold it way too early. I needed some money at a time. I went to, fund up my account. The thing about Forex is, when you're first getting into it, there's a lot of up and down, right? So, I mean, dude, if I held that XRP investment, it'd be insanely up. But I'm also grateful for the experience just to have gotten started that early. Because if I never made that investment, I wouldn't even know what I did miss out on, you know? Yeah. But that really wasn't the pinnacle. What the pinnacle was network marketing, came through and swept the US by storm. And one of the biggest products in the network marketing industry was Forex education. And that's how I got onto it in a high school setting, because in high school, there's not really many people that actually know what they're doing that can teach you how to trade. But I had a buddy who had got recruited into a network marketing company, and he was doing very well for himself in life, at least to my opinion. So I listened to him. He told me, he was like, buddy, if you join this business, you can learn how to trade and do all these things that I never heard of, make money from your phone, etc. So I joined, and that's really how I got introduced to Forex right there.
So were you still in high school then?
I was still in high school.
Crazy.
I was still in high school. I think around this time, this was my junior year in high school. So this was my second to last year.
Yeah.
So, and I think it really took off for me senior year. Senior year was a really good year.
Really?
Yeah, it was really good. I couldn't believe it.
I mean, yeah, that's wild. So like the typical story for most traders is that first year, 2, maybe even 3 is a nightmare.
Yeah.
Did you have ups and downs? Like, did you have struggles in the early days?
I did have struggles, but the thing that I like to tell people, especially when it comes to my trading journey, because I was fortunate enough to see gross 6-figure profits in the first year, right? As far as by the time I was 18 years old, I had accumulated over 6 figures in profits. And the biggest thing that I always tell people is like, I'm like a unicorn. You probably won't ever see one. And if you do see one, you probably won't see one again. Yeah. So I say that to say, don't come into the Forex markets thinking you're going to go make your first 6 figures in 12 months, or by the age of 18, you're going to drop out of high school and do all these things. Like, it's very possible, but you probably won't be the one to do it, So for sure. That's really how it is. But what happened for me, right, with the network marketing, I had got started with the company, and I shared the company with a few friends. Right. And these companies, they have monthly reoccurring membership prices that we all could not afford. Right. So I fell out of the company. About 2 months later, I stopped doing Forex. I actually quit. And a buddy that I had introduced to the business, he took it full scale. He went and he educated himself. He paid for additional mentorship. I mean, he took it full scale. Right. And it was crazy, dude. It was literally my birthday, December 2nd, 2018. And this guy, he hits me up and he's thanking me. He's literally thanking me for telling him about Forex, just for informing him. Damn. I didn't teach him anything. Yeah. But if I never informed him, he would have not been able to go and then, get the knowledge and be where he is. So at that point, I was like, dude, come teach me whatever you learned. And that's when it really took off for me, dude. I think like 3 weeks after that, I had my first 10K a month. And wow. Dude, I mean, it was crazy from that point.
So you say you're a unicorn with that regard, because that is very rare. Like, can we give a bit of context? Like, what exactly were you doing? Were you trading personal capital, and what were you doing in terms of strategy? Like,
Yeah, so as far as what I was doing, what really made the difference for me, let me see if I can pull it up. So you can like even see right here, bro, back in 2018, the camera's just gonna have to take my word for it. This is my guy Griffin, and Griffin was somebody who, I introduced to trading. But if you look here, December 2nd, let's find it.
damn, we're going through the Snapchat archives.
Yep, Snapchat archives right now. You see the Lamborghinis. This is how much I felt like we were gonna be rich by the next week. But yeah, literally right here, you'll see December 2nd. He's like, I might end up dropping out of college, homie. I'm on the road to making my first mil this month. You changed my life, bro. Can't thank you enough for that. Dude.
First mil this month?
Broke. I'm in high school. I'm broke. This guy's in college. He's a freshman in college. He's killing it. He's playing on the football team. He drops off the football team, drops out of college.
I'm not saying I'm thinking about dropping out of college. I'm dropping out.
Like the only reason he was still there was because of his parents, right?
Yeah.
So now I'm like, dude, come back and teach me whatever it is you learned. Like, how are you about to make $1 million? This is in 2018, right? If you look at the price of these Lamborghinis, they were a lot cheaper back then, right? So I say that to say, like, my journey was very rare, but it was also why I tell people you have to share this market. You have to tell people about what you're doing and when you're learning. You don't want to gatekeep this until you get good at it, because that might be the reason you never get good at it. Because if I never told Griffin, we'd never be speaking.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Okay, so let's fast forward a little bit. You find success early. You continue on. Is this just you continuing with a personal account?
Yeah. Everything, dude, for my first 6 years, everything was personal. I didn't touch a prop firm. I didn't touch, everything was personal. By the time I actually learned from Griffin, I had confidence, right? So I reached out to a few friends of mine and I said, hey, dude, I'm doing this Forex thing. I'm really good at it. Really good at it. And I want you to invest in me, right?
Oh, wow.
And a few buddies of mine, they put a few $1,000s together. And
that's a lot of That's a lot of like pressure.
It is, and the pressure crumbled. I lost some money for sure.
But I don't think I've heard anyone do that
and win, right? So I lost money originally, but at that point I was indebted. I'm like, dude, I can't just let these guys down because it didn't go my way the first time. So we kept going, and eventually I made a profit. I paid everybody back for that initial investment, and we just kept going, and it was a lot easier because since I was, starting with a few grand. Right, it was a lot easier to scale and make $5,000, $10,000.
Yes.
And back then I wasn't really big on risk management, so I wasn't clocking the fact that I might be making a 50% return or 100% return. Right. I more so was just trading, trying to see the big numbers on the screen.
And so was that with everyone still throwing in and like?
Oh no! After I made a profit,
when you paid,
we're good. Yeah, we're rolling now. So.
All right, nice. All right, and obviously you're at the point where you are now. Can I ask, like, in terms of strategy stuff, are you a swing trader, a scalper? Like, what kind of?
So I would say I'm more so intraday. I don't really kind of confine myself to one style. I'm really, really big on risk to reward. That's my biggest thing, right? Once I set my trade, I'm so confident in losing whatever I agreed to set my stop loss at. For example, if I say I'm risking, I have a 10K account, I want to risk 1%, I'm risking $100. Once I enter the trade, if the trade takes 30 seconds or 30 hours, it makes no difference to me because the worst thing that can happen is me losing that 100. Now, obviously, maybe if you hold a weekend trade or you hold between market close, you might get hit with some swaps and stuff like that. But dude, outside of that, when you set your risk, it doesn't really matter how long it takes to play out because you set your worst case scenario. So that was like the biggest game breaker for me because for like the first 6 years of my career, I wasn't really big on risk management. I just wanted to see numbers. I used to think about trades like, hey, 2 lots, 50 pips, that's $1,000. I used to be like my go-to kind of thing instead of looking at, hey, I have 10 grand. I don't want to lose more than $500. I don't care how much I can make from the 50 pips. I don't want to lose more than 500. Right. So I need a 25 pip SL, right? And then I might drop 2 lots then. And now I'm risking $500. Yeah. And now that's 5% of my account. And now if that happens, I'm okay with it. Versus me opening my phone and 5%'s gone that you didn't expect to lose. Yeah. That's when the emotions come in and the psyche comes in and you're just out of the trader zone at that point.
All right, man. Well, here you are now. You're obviously a successful trader. You're crushing it. Newer traders watching this, they're gonna find they're not the unicorns.
Yeah, no, don't try to be a unicorn.
What's your advice to them? Like, especially in that first 2 years, because that's where most people kind of give up, right? Is there something that you've seen like reoccurring as to why traders give up in that first 2 years?
Dude, I think a lot of the marketing and what people see on social media and the Instagram or looking at the unicorns, we could say, right? I think that kind of takes people's realistic approach away from it, right? And I say this to say, you say people might give up after 2 years, right? But if people go to university, they want to become a doctor, they won't be gone in 2 years from the university.
Yeah.
You want to become a lawyer, you're going to spend more than 2 years. You want to go to be a professional athlete, you have to spend nearly your whole life. So why is it when you want to become a successful trader, if it's not done in 2 years, you quit? It makes no sense, right? So the biggest thing that I would say is have a realistic approach. Don't be a phony. Don't be someone who is trying to impress others. And what I mean by that is there's some people who they'll come and lock in for 2 years. They'll be in their books. They'll be doing everything to show that they're really trying to get this, to show other people that they're locked in instead of showing themselves, right? And once you really confine and lock in on yourself, it doesn't matter how many years it takes. Like I said, I've been training for 8 years. It really, really, really just clicked for me about 2 to 3 years ago that this is something I can do for the rest of my life. And that's once I got risk management. Before I got risk management, there were years where I'll be having a great year, lose 100 grand.
Yeah.
I think my worst loss to date is maybe $250,000 on the year. And it's just like, that shouldn't be happening.
Yeah.
That shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
Right. But when you don't have proper risk management, I mean, anything can happen. Right.
For sure.
So that's my biggest advice to everyone. Take your time, be realistic with it. And if you want to make 6 figures a year, you want to make 100 grand US, you want to make millions of dollars, treat it like that. I know lawyers, doctors, and a lot of professionals that make that kind of money, but ask them how long they spent to be in that position. I promise you it's a lot more than 2 years. So that's my biggest advice.
There you go. Golden advice.
Yeah.
Appreciate you,
Appreciate
brother.
it, man. It was a pleasure.
Likewise.
And, definitely see you next time.
Sounds good.
Let's go.